Welcome back.
Welcome back to the second episode of
These Nuts Podcast.
I just want to say thank you to our 99 people that have watched our first YouTube video. We do it all for you.
You little nutlets.
Nutless, that's what we're going to call our fans. I'm glad to have the first one out of the way. It was out of our comfort zone.
Very cringy looking back on it. I still can't believe we did it and went through with it and put ourselves out there. But I'm excited to just keep going.
Yeah, I'm proud of us too. That was a big deal. Just get to it.
I mean,
Okay.
unless you have any follow-up on Heavy B or Miley.
I haven't heard anything new.
I haven't either.
No.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to tell you about something wild this week.
You know, wild is like my favorite
Yeah,
word.
so I'm going to steal it. Is it trademarked already, or can I use it too? So, this is a story that comes from our current city, Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay.
I'm going to take you all the way back. Not all the way back as far as 1910, like I did
Thank
last
God.
week.
Just kidding.
A little bit more current, in the 1980s.
Okay, still a little bit before my time, but
What do you picture when
I
you think
picture-
of the 80s?
big hair,
Mm-hmm.
crazy colors, Furbies.
Yeah, that's all such good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. I picture a sexy mullet and a Gold's Gym t-shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some Dracar Noir cologne in the air.
That's my favorite.
I don't even know if I said that right.
I don't know what you're talking about, but continue.
But yeah, mullets, big hair, neon colors.
Yeah.
Joan Jett was
Okay.
number one on the radio with her I Love Rock and Roll. Well, you know, I still love me
know
some
you
Joan
love
Jett.
that.
So I thought this 80s story would be fun.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about a woman named... What was that?
It's our fans. They're coming to get us. You told them where we live, and now they're
They have a red
knocking down
dress.
the door.
Okay, this is about a woman named Marcia Heald. Heald.
Okay.
And in 1981, Marcia was 44 years old. She was divorced and she had 2 teenage sons. Marcia was, let me tell you something about Marcia. She went to church every single Sunday.
Okay.
She played the harp.
Oh, the harp. I don't think I've ever heard of a single person playing the harp in
And
real life.
Going to church playing the harp, she seems like she's an angel, but
Okay.
she's not. She also worked as a librarian at the Indianapolis Library.
Okay.
And 2 Saturdays a month, she also worked at the Indianapolis Children's Museum.
I love the Children's Museum.
Yeah, she's like a freaking Girl Scout.
She really is.
Marcia liked to go to festivals and do like reenactments, play her harp, listen to music, just all that kind of stuff. So one day she's at a festival and she meets this guy named Brian Thornton. And he's also a musician. And here's something else that I thought was weird. He's also a piano tuner, just like in my last story.
Wait a second!
Is that what you're Googling? Like,
No!
I
Piano
want to
tuners!
talk about on the podcast this week.
Piano tuners gone wild. And then this
Can somebody
pops up.
tune my piano?
That's exactly what I was looking for. So, Marcia and Brian meet and they hit it off. And to tell you a little bit about Brian, he was born in like the 50s, because this is 1981, you know. And Brian was placed in an institution for a little while, or they called it an asylum. But, and okay, I don't know if you've ever seen Cropsey.
Not familiar, no.
It's a movie about like all this evil stuff that went on in like the 60s.
That sounds scary.
In asylums. Yeah, I don't know if I watched it either, but I've heard of it.
Okay.
But he said he saw horrific things there. And one of the reasons that he was placed in this asylum, can you guess why? This is 1960.
He was gay.
He was bisexual. And
Okay.
so that was just, that was considered a mental illness
Well, yeah.
for a long time. So that just was kind of left a scar, some trauma to work through. But at first, Brian and Marcia hit it off. They were doing their little festivals and music playing, and they like to go to poetry readings.
And he was tuning her piano.
Yes, he was actually, because he was
Sorry.
he was bisexual, so he was tuning her piano.
Okay.
And she would keep a journal about it.
Oh.
Well, then things kind of started to get weird. Weirder than the harp and the piano. Yeah.
Okay.
She started saying things like, I'm ancient. I'm over 5,000 years old. This is another lifetime for me. And so at first, Brian kind of goes along with it. He's like, yeah, dude, me too. Like, I used to be a god called Pan.
Pan.
Pam?
Pam?
Pam.
Pan.
I instantly thought of the Step Brothers thing. Pan, though.
I
No,
think-
it's Pam.
I'm sorry. Well, Pan,
No, my name is Pam.
are you saying Pan or Pam?
I'm saying Pam.
I think I might be able to help with the Pan-Pam dilemma.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Pam.
Pam, oh no.
Pam.
Panned.
With an
There's
M.
a D on the end.
There's no D. It's Pam.
It's like calm.
Here, it's
Except
P.
P-A-N-M.
M.
N-N.
Two M's.
M.
That was the
No,
confusion.
there's just one M.
You were speaking Spanish earlier, so you said pan, and my mind went bread.
Oh, good. But so at this time, and at that time in 1981, it was like they were kind of sharing this delusion. I think Brian thought it was like fun,
Okay.
but it wasn't. So Brian invites Marcia to go to Lafayette with him one night to go to their friend's house, and their friends are Shelley and Gerald Smith. Have
Okay.
you heard of this?
I don't think I have. However, I do feel like in the past you've told me a story about a librarian in Lafayette and something significant happening. But so far, nothing is connecting with me. Although, without giving too much away, one of the people that I'm going to talk about's name is Brian, who's kind of crazy.
Oh,
So that's kind of interesting.
That is
but
weird.
Continue, please.
So it was like the night of Marcia's birthday, even, and she had met this couple before. Their names again were Shelley and Gerald Smith. Gerald was 30, and he's a senior at Purdue.
Okay.
And Shelley was 26 at this time, and she was a stay-at-home mom. They had a little 1-year-old baby.
And they were in their 40s.
Yes.
Okay.
But they have like mutual circles, because I feel like Shelley and Gerald were also kind of into the artsy scene of poetry reading, music festivals, Civil War reenactments, all that fun stuff we love to do.
I can't wait. We're actually going to a reenactment on Saturday.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I have my outfit. So they come down, and it's discovered prior to this, though, not that night. At one point during their relationship, Brian tells Marcia, I'm not only having sex with you, but I'm also live with my boyfriend,
Okay.
and I'm in a romantic relationship with Shelley.
Oh, hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Shelley, his boyfriend, and Marcia.
Brian
Brian
was
was
busy.
up.
Brian was
Okay.
busy. So, obviously, Marcia doesn't like this. And Marcia and Shelley have had conversations before. And I think, honestly, Shelley thought Marcia was maybe playing. Like, at one point, she was like, you really think you are an ancient goddess? And she'd be like, yeah, I am.
Sounds like something you would say.
I am. Can you not see it? And when Marcia was like, yeah, I do think that, I know that, Shelley would just be like, if you think that, you're crazy.
Okay.
And they kind of just let it go. So Gerald would get up every single morning and deliver the local newspaper. I assume it was the Journal and Courier. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Right? And he would do that before class and then go to school. So he got up that morning, and while he was getting ready to go deliver the newspapers, the get-together was kind of wrapping up. It's like 4, 5 in the morning.
Okay.
So everybody leaves, and then he goes to work. Well, when he left for work, he didn't lock the door. He just shut the door and went to work. Well, Marcia didn't leave with Brian, or Brian had went back to his place. She waited a few hours, and then she just went back into the apartment. And I have a picture of the apartment. It's here on New York Street in Lafayette. We could post a picture.
Okay.
Takes off all of her clothes.
Marsha.
Marcia.
Okay.
Naked Marcia is what we can call her if you'd like.
Okay, naked Marsha. I've got her in my head.
She takes off all of her clothes. She goes into their kitchen, gets a paring knife, which is a pretty small knife.
Yeah.
Walks into Shelley's bedroom and just starts stabbing her. There was a lot of really graphic details about the murder. I'm not gonna.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
'Cause
It was really bad. So then she just leaves, goes to Brian's house, and falls asleep on his porch swing on his porch. So Gerald gets done with his paper route, comes back into the house, and finds Shelley in the hallway, massacred. Not just killed, a bloody massacre. Her head was almost completely cut off of her body. And I'm still saving you a lot of the details.
I seriously appreciate the details being
So
spared.
he calls 911, of course, and the police come. There's 5 knives laying around her. There's like a giant broken mirror, like shattered over her. I mean, it's just a really, really weird scene. So the police are there. While the police are there investigating, calming Gerald down, and he has the 1-year-old baby. Luckily, the baby was not even touched, looked at, anything. She was still asleep in her room. I think it's a she. I'm not sure. Freaking Brian calls the house while the police are there
Okay.
and asks to talk to Shelley. And they're like, actually, that's not possible. And why don't you come on down to the police station? We need to talk to you. So he does, and of course, Marcia's name gets brought up. And when they go to Brian's house, because they know she's there, I think she had tried to call Brian. And at first when they're like talking to her, like, oh, I forgot to tell you this part. She went to the emergency room because her hands were all cut up.
After she murdered Shelley.
Yes. I mean, you gotta get stitches.
I mean, maybe you shouldn't murder people, but okay.
Yeah, that's true. So she goes and she gets her stitches. Goes to Brian's and, Brian's and falls asleep.
Brian's.
When the police get there, they're like, hey, how'd you get those cuts on your hands? And she said, I fell on the sidewalk. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do you mind getting in the police car and talking to us? And everything, she's being kind of normal and like everything's fine at first. Then they ask if they can like look through her bag or her car that's with her. There's a Polaroid picture
Stop.
of the murder scene.
Stop, Amy. Stop.
Criminals are so dumb. What was that picture for?
I don't know. Why would you want that?
I have no idea. It's disgusting. So they take her to the police station. Obviously, she's arrested. And then when she gets down to the police station, that's when she starts telling them, oh, well, I mean, by the way, I'm 5,000 years old. I'm an ancient goddess. And Shelley was Satan. And you know how you have to kill the serpent, you have to cut its head off. And that's why I did that. And that's why, I'm innocent. So.
Because Shelley was Satan.
Shelley was Satan because she was after her man. Which I think, that was mutual, obviously.
Right, yeah.
So, it gets even better. So.
Better?
Well, worse, I should say. So Shelley, some of the weird, eccentric things that she would do, which people around her started to think, oh, she's kind of on the edge here. She bought these 3 necklaces from the Children's Museum and said they were magical. Then she got this floppy hat and put all these random things on it. But my 2 favorite things that she put on it was a peacock feather and a chunk of Brian's hair.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, but I think, yeah.
Yeah, so she would wear that all the time. So after she was arrested, they moved the trial to Lebanon,
Okay.
and she was found guilty of both murder and this story is not even close to over
Okay,
yet.
I wondered.
Murder and burglary for going into the apartment. And she got 40 years.
Okay.
Well, in Indiana, it's usually, at that time especially, it's like a day for a day. So if you are sentenced to 40 years, you're going to do 20 years.
Sure.
And this was in 1980, so
2000.
So yeah, here we are today. So, and the jury convicted her very, very quickly, by the way.
I mean, a picture of the murder scenes?
Well, she tried to plead,
Mentally.
yeah, innocent by
Defects or something.
crazy, by crazy. I don't know. So when it was getting close to the time for her to be released, she wrote a letter to the courthouse where she was convicted. But okay, so I don't know. I think it was 1997.
Okay.
The Tippecanoe County Courthouse was bombed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a bomb threat, maybe a small. I should have googled that. But it really was some sort of attack on the courthouse. So 3 days before Marcia is going to be released, she writes a letter to the courthouse and she says, "I need my magical hat back because it's a danger to just be out there in the wrong hands."
Without Brian's hair and that peacock
Yeah,
feather.
it has a lot of power, and
That's why she went to jail for 20 years.
yes, so I need that hat back. Well, in the letter she said, if you find the people that bombed the Tippecanoe County Courthouse, you're going to find the person that has my hat.
Interesting. Okay, tell me more.
Basically, they got this letter and was like, oh, she's still crazy. Excuse me. She was supposed to just get out and be released, but she was what they assumed was schizophrenic, but the whole time she was in jail, she refused to take her medication.
Sure. I mean, that would take away the magical powers.
You're right. The hat, now meds, forget it. So that was, I Googled her on the Indiana Department of Offenders, like
Yes.
what is it called?
My case?
Well, no, there's my case, of course, but then there's like, you can look up prison.
Oh, okay.
In Indiana.
I don't know what it's called, but I do know what you're talking
It's like
about.
the Indiana Department of Corrections offender list.
Okay.
Okay,
Whew.
so I looked her up to see, like, where's she at?
Yeah.
So she was discharged from prison July 28th of 2003. But I could not find where is Marcia today.
Today? Okay. Let me just say, I am... Fun fact about me, I'm the nosiest person.
You're going to find Marcia
Ever.
for me?
I'm going to find Marcia.
Okay.
I'm going to find Marcia. Tune in next week. I will tell you where Marcia went because I will find her.
Okay. I mean, she still has living sons out there.
You send me their names.
I don't know their names.
I'll find them.
Okay. I mean, they might find us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I'm sure they're fine, though. I'm sure they're fine. So that's what I've got for this week. Lafayette, Indiana massacre on New York Street.
Wow, okay. I am gonna get to the bottom of Marcia and her
Magical hat.
thank you. Marcia and the Magical Hat coming next week.
Okay.
Tune in.
I'm excited.
Oh, wow. Okay. I feel like I did know something about some type of murder that you told me about. I swear I could just picture us at work one day. You said something about a librarian murdered or being murdered or something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me. Anything that pops into my head, I try to tell you.
I know.
So maybe. This was...
I didn't know know all those details.
I'd heard something about this before, I think I'd heard about it on another podcast maybe,
Okay.
but I couldn't find it.
Okay.
I couldn't remember any of the details, so I literally just Googled like murders in Lafayette, Indiana. And a librarian with a magical hat definitely.
Sums it up. I
In-
mean, that's
interested
the
me.
one. Okay. Well, we'll come back to it next week and
Okay.
see where we're at.
Okay.
You ready to hear about my family and my crazy Brian?
Yes!
I'm seriously wondering if you've heard of this because whereas yours was set in 1980, mine's set in 2023.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm going to go back a little while, but I just want to tell you about the Walsh family out of Cohasset, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And as I'm talking about this, you might have heard of it, or you may have heard of it, because I know you're like on TikTok a lot, or do podcasts, or just Facebook or the news.
Mhm.
But okay, so in Cohasset, Massachusetts, there is a couple, Anna and Brian Walsh. Let me show you the picture. It is not J-Lo like you had thought.
She's very beautiful.
gorgeous.
Though. Yeah.
Yes. Tell me how she landed this man.
Oh no, self-esteem issues.
Maybe. I'm not really sure, but yeah.
Ugh.
So,
Okay. I hope he's a dirtbag in the story.
oh, just wait.
Okay.
I told you he was crazy already.
Okay.
So, so just a little bit about them. They've been together since 2008. They met when Anna was working in a luxury hotel, I believe in Massachusetts, but I could be wrong. And they have 3 boys together.
Okay.
Okay.
I've not heard of them at all.
Really?
No.
Okay. You're going to be very intrigued.
I am already.
Because I know that you love, like, true crime
Obsessed.
stories.
Unhealthy.
And
obsessed.
this, I do not, but this caught my attention.
Okay.
So a little bit about Anna. She is a 39-year-old real estate investment manager, born in Siberia, who came to the U.S. They live, like I said, in Massachusetts, but she travels a lot for work to Washington, D.C. So
Okay.
back and forth.
Jet setter.
Jet setter.
Jet setter.
She has another home in Washington. She has another vehicle. So, like, she's stays there for a little while, and then she'll come back home and be with her husband and her kids when
Oh,
she's
okay.
not working. Brian, on the other hand, he is not as ambitious as
Okay.
Anna. I'm going to call Brian a career criminal.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
Career criminal.
Okay.
And let me tell you why. Well, first, he's also a diagnosed sociopath. All the Bryans are.
Sorry, I don't know why that was funny. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But throughout the course of his life, he has had several run-ins with the law. It starts with, well, I'm not exactly sure which order these things happen in, but let's just start with the problems that he ended up in court with because of his family.
Okay.
So his dad was a wealthy neurosurgeon. Who definitely made a good living. I mean, I don't know a neurosurgeon that.
Right.
Makes
Well, I don't know
minimum
too many
wage.
neurosurgeons.
I mean, I don't either, but.
But okay, I guess I'll hold my questions.
No, you can ask him.
A neurosurgeon should be able to identify a sociopath, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So Brian's dad, his parents split when he was young.
Okay.
His relationship was off and on with his dad, depending on who you ask.
Okay.
Remember, he's a sociopath.
Right.
So, at one point throughout Brian's life, or I guess his father's life, he was helping his dad refinance a home and stole $800,000 from him.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not really sure what happened of that, but that right there, they had a very rocky relationship. I mean, I can't, yeah.
If I leave 80 cents on the counter and my son takes it,
Loose change!
shit gets rocky for a minute. I was gonna buy a fountain pop.
Drink your tap water!
Exactly. Damn.
So down the line, his his father ends up passing away. He leaves a will, as one should when you are a wealthy neurosurgeon.
Yes.
Speaking from experience.
Yes, I've got mine in order.
And what he left for Brian stated, "Best wishes for my son and nothing else." And you know that had to sting.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you something that I left out of my story?
Absolutely.
So, my Marcia did a will too.
Okay.
And it's very similar. When they read the will, like when they found it in her belongings,
Marcia or
Marcia,
Marcia
the
could
crazy
still be
person,
alive.
yeah, she would leave things like, "To my friend Wendy, stay strong and prosper." Like it was nothing ever physical. It was just like well
Words of
wishes.
wisdom.
Yes, not even wise words though. Just like, keep on, keep it on.
Good luck on a Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. So it made me think of that. I left it out of my story, but wow, okay, that's
Yeah.
a great best wishes, Brian.
Best wishes and nothing else.
I'm gonna think that's sarcasm.
I mean, I don't think his father really wanted him to have anything, but
Okay, love that.
that didn't stop Brian.
Okay.
So his dad passed away. He went into his dad's home, took the will, destroyed it somehow, and made himself the executor of his father's estate. So during that time, he sold his father's expensive belongings, his car, just a lot of very expensive things he had, including a painting by Salvador Dali.
Oh my goodness.
Well, his family realized that he was doing this, and what he didn't know is one of his father's friends had a picture of the original will.
Oh, thank
So
God.
they took him to court, they stopped him, case closed.
What a snake.
What a snake.
Oh my gosh.
What a snake. So then after that, I believe after that, at some point, him and his wife had met. Like I said, they met in 2008. Well, in 2014, the police were called. Anna called the police and said, "My boyfriend at the time has threatened to kill me over the phone."
Oh my God.
So they start an investigation. She initially is cooperating, but then stops. Case is closed, nothing ever happens, and they just move on with their life. Well, then they get married about a year later.
Oh my God.
So-
Nothing fixes a murder
Like
threat like a good wedding.
Exactly.
Been there, done that.
Anyways. So that was 2014. Well, in 2016, he had another run-in with the law. He had a friend that was trying to sell a collection of paintings, including 2 paintings by Andy Warhol.
Okay.
He had told his friend, "Hey, I'll go to South Korea, I'll get these paintings for you, and I will help you make the sale." So he goes, he comes back to the US, ghosts his friend. So he's got these original pieces of art, and his friend just
I
can't
thought
find
you were
them.
going to say he painted something.
He has deemed himself an artist.
That's a sociopath for you.
I mean, you're not wrong. He may have.
Paint my numbers.
Well, just wait, because he posted those paintings on eBay, sold them for $80,000, and when he went to meet the buyer, or he shipped them to the buyer, or however it happened, the buyer realized they were fake. So maybe he painted the fakes. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, when that happened, he was arrested. Charges were officially filed, and he was found guilty. He is still awaiting sentencing, but during his, what I'm going to assume is a trial, I didn't really dig too deep into it. Anna, who they've already had a rocky relationship, did write a letter vouching for him.
Ah, yeah.
She said that he had experienced a lot of childhood trauma, including he was always told or always taught how to lie and hide. And he was often told that he was a loser and should have never been born.
By whom?
His parents.
Okay.
So, because of his childhood trauma, let him go easy on him for stealing the painting.
Because of our childhood trauma, please like and subscribe.
Yes, please share it with your friends because my life is hanging by a thread.
What Brian went through, that's not shit.
I know.
Okay.
It's still to this day he's awaiting sentencing. He was on federal house arrest, but for some reason, which again I didn't dig too deep into it, the federal house arrest included no GPS tracking. I'm not really
Okay.
sure exactly how that works because any house arrest that I've never ever known of, which again I'm not really into true crime or anything like that.
I'm into felons. I can tell you about it.
Tell me please.
So usually they have a thing on their ankle
Right.
that is literally you can
Monitors
yeah,
them,
it's
yeah.
GPS tracked.
Yes.
At least that's been my experience.
I mean, yes, but why did he? How are you?
How was he on house? Just please stay inside.
Thank you.
I'm on house arrest.
Same.
I love to stay inside.
I can't wait to tell my boss tomorrow. Sorry,
come
I'm on house arrest.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just a little bit
White
about
collar
both of them.
crimes. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
that's honestly true.
Oh, you painted a bad picture. Will you please stay inside?
Don't go outside.
Yes, I'll stay. Okay, so how'd that play out for him?
So, like I said, he's still awaiting sentencing. So
Okay. Oh, okay.
that's kind of where he's left off in terms of that run-in with the law.
Okay.
But so that's just a little bit about each of them. I know that was more about him than it was her.
Well, I remember Anna was a hard-working boss lady.
Hardworking, travels a lot, mom of 3.
Okay.
And very beautiful. Not sure how she.
How he got her
Thank you.
by being a sociopath.
I mean, yeah.
He charmed and lied and manipulated and
Okay. This is where it turns dark,
ugh.
which I don't like, but I'm gonna tell you about him anyways.
Okay.
So New Year's Eve, 2022. So a month ago today.
Okay.
Him and Anna had to get together for New Year's Eve,
Okay.
as a lot of people
They had
do.
to do it at their house though.
Right,
Okay.
exactly, because he couldn't leave.
Right.
At least they asked him kindly to
Yeah.
stay. So they had this party, and then everybody went home. Well, what happened next? Only one person knows. But what Brian says is his wife Anna got an emergency work call in the middle of the night and had to leave for Washington, D.C. immediately.
Okay.
She was going to call an Uber, take a flight, take it to the airport, take a flight, and go to D.C., stay, and work for a couple of days.
And she was real estate,
A real estate investment manager
so an emergency real estate matter.
in the middle of the night.
Okay. I
Makes
hate that. I
sense.
hate that.
Yeah, same. So a couple days go past. It's not uncommon for them not to speak because she's a boss lady. She's busy. January 4th, both Brian and Anna's boss call the police
Okay.
to let them know that she's been missing.
4 days later.
4 days later.
Ugh.
During the time she should have been traveling, there were no records of any flights. There were no records of any phone activity, no records of any financials anywhere. So she essentially disappeared off the face of the earth.
Oh my gosh.
And nobody knows what happened.
And
to her.
that's where we're at today. She's
She's still missing.
oh my gosh.
So a couple of days later, the police, are reaching out, trying to get more information about Anna. How can they help find her? Let's start investigating. Brian becomes a person of interest. No surprise there.
Yeah.
The very first thing that, they initially noticed is that he lied about his whereabouts. He told the police, because remember, he's on house arrest, but not tracked,
Right.
that the only thing he has done since Anna's been gone is go grocery shopping, and then he took his mother home after a procedure she had, some type of, I don't know. However, they found several different surveillance videos that showed him showed him near a liquor store dumpster on the day of her disappearance. So on New Year's Day.
A liquor store dumpster.
Right. But it gets worse.
Oh my gosh.
They also caught him on camera at Home Depot, TJ Maxx, and Home Goods.
Let me guess. Shovels, tarps, bleach.
He paid $450 in cash for mops, buckets, goggles, tarps, hatchets, baking soda, rugs, bath mats, towels, men's clothing, squeegees, and trash cans.
Oh no.
So everything you would need when you're on house arrest at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure your house is clean.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh my gosh, that's a disposal kit right there.
I mean, I don't even know how to say it, but it gets even more wild.
Oh shit! I wasn't ready.
And remember, this happened within the last 30 days. 'Cause
Yeah.
This was just a month ago
Yeah.
that she went missing or left in the middle of the night. Well, then they also found out that he had disposed of several trash bags around several different dumpsters, all within a 30-minute radius of his home. 3 of the dumpsters were picked up by the trash company, taken to the incinerator before they could get the belongings out of them. But they did find one dumpster that had 10 trash bags in it.
Okay.
And in those trash bags were towels, rags, gloves, tape, slippers, different cleaning agents, carpets, rugs, boots, her Prada purse, her COVID vaccination card, a hatchet, a hacksaw, and shears.
Oh no.
So, of course,
Why did you throw her purse away?
I
Oh, to make it seem like she took it with her, maybe.
yeah, I guess.
Mm.
So, of course, they're like, red flag.
Red flag. Oh my
Brian,
gosh.
hello, Brian. So they search his home.
Okay. Good.
And come up with a couple of different things. They find a broken knife in the basement. They found traces of blood in the basement, but they're still not sure who the blood belongs to. So whether it was new, whether it was old, if it was theirs, they don't know.
Oh wow.
And they searched his car, which was recently cleaned. Conveniently.
Always when a man has a woman in his life that goes missing, the only thing they care about is really soaping down that car.
Seriously.
I mean, it must be so therapeutic for them.
just takes a load off.
Yeah, what the hell?
Now I can get anything done now that my car is clean.
If I ever clean out my car, you're gonna know this.
I will absolutely
Oops, blooper. You'll know there has been a dead body.
We're gonna post a couple pictures of the inside of your car.
No.
Okay, but this next thing that I'm getting ready to tell you, I saw on TikTok a very quick video of these things that they found
Okay.
that really caught my interest. I was like, who does that?
Okay.
So just think back to when this happened. Again,
New
they
Year's
had that
Eve.
party New Year's Eve. She was reported missing January 4th, so a couple of days.
He had so much time to clean up after himself.
So much. But he cleaned up all the wrong things.
Oh, good.
Starting
good.
with his internet search history. And you are not going to believe the things that this man searched for.
Tell me.
Let me just run you through a timeline. December 27th, so a couple of days before New Year's Eve. What's the best state to divorce for a man?
Okay.
Okay. Whatever, if you want to get a divorce.
Get a divorce.
Get a divorce. January 1st, 4:55 a.m. Remember, at this point, emergency work call, she's got to go.
Yeah.
She's out. 4:55 a.m. How long before a body starts to smell?
Oh my god.
3 minutes later at 4:58, how to stop a body from decomposing. An hour later, 5:47, 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to.
10 ways?
This man is Googling this.
What an idiot! I mean, he could have just said best way. He needs 10 different
He
options.
needs options.
What an ass.
6:25, so about another hour, half an hour. How long for someone to be missing to inherit? Because remember, she's a boss lady. She's making money.
This man.
Very clearly, he wants money. He stole the $800,000 from his father. Then he made himself the executor of his estate. He stole the Andy Warhol paintings. Like, I don't know if he's a sociopath that's motivated by money.
I mean, it seems that way. You've
But-
definitely painted a sociopath picture
I mean,
here.
yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't stop there. 6:34 a.m. And these Google searches, I just feel like, get more and more wild. Can you throw away body parts?
No. You must recycle. I'm sorry, somebody's dead, but
I know.
these are so ridiculous.
9:29, so 3 hours later. What does formaldehyde do? 5 minutes later, how long does DNA last? Half an hour later, can identification be made on partial remains?
Oh my gosh.
About an hour and a half later, remember this is, so far I've done like 10 through within
Yeah.
this frame of 4 hours.
I see the list like out of my peripheral. It's this long.
Right. So 11:34 that same morning, dismemberment and best ways to dispose of a body. 11:44, 10 minutes later, how to clean blood from a wooden floor.
Oh my god, take a break from the internet for a minute.
10 minutes later, luminol to detect blood. An hour and 15 minutes later, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia?
Mm.
Half an hour later, is it better to put crime scene clothes away or wash them? So that was all in the span of January 1st. But there's still 6 more Google searches that
Oh
this
my
man
God.
did. The next day, it just makes me like queasy to even say it, but hacksaw, best tool to dismember. An hour later, can you be charged with murder without a body? So at this point, I'm thinking he's gotten rid of her somehow.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Um,
You can kind of follow the searches
like
of
what
where he's
done.
at. Yeah.
Can you identify a body with broken teeth?
Oh my god.
Then the next day, I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse, but you kind of get the point. But so they've arrested him. He's pled not guilty, but they still can't find her.
I'm so glad he's in custody because I was going to ask you, like, I don't feel safe with him around those kids.
The kids have been taken by the state.
Oh, she doesn't have family that could step in or
I
would
don't
step
think
in?
so, but I couldn't find anything. I found
I mean,
that
it's
she
not always possible.
had several friends in the area, but I'm also wondering if maybe her family is from out of the country.
Oh, Siberia.
Mhm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I'm just, and when I was like, I saw that video and I was like, who Googles that? And then I was reading the comments and none of this is funny, but then people were like, okay, he said at 1:20 p.m. can baking soda mask or make a body smell good. 1:30 p.m. Are the police gonna catch me?
What? How would Google know?
I mean, he didn't say that, but that's
Oh.
like what it almost seems like he's going through in his mind.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm thinking he's in jail. Can I escape from a prison cell?
Right? He's an idiot. What's his name?
Brian Walsh,
Brian Walsh of what?
Cohasset, Massachusetts.
Cohasset, Massachusetts. I would love for the people of Massachusetts to just write in with every horror story this man has ever done, show up at court.
Everything.
I mean, I really hope she's found. I just can't imagine. That's terrible.
It's so sad and just unbelievable even that a person would even Google those things. But also, not that I want to be put in his mind.
No,
but,
there's something wrong with him, for sure.
But can you just imagine, like, say, maybe he did kill her, obviously, but the panic that he felt to think that it was normal to Google those things and not be caught?
Well, I'm confused because it sounds like he comes from a predominant family. I mean, his dad was a neurosurgeon. I feel like there's some genetics to intelligence. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So I wouldn't think he's stupid. He also landed this amazing, smart woman.
Right.
So did he have a psychotic break?
I I don't know.
I feel
that-
no sympathy for him, no matter what.
Right. No, yeah. I did see that he was a long-term patient in a psychiatric hospital. I think what I read was 10 years, but I couldn't find, was he like committed? Was he just
Oh, like outpatient
doing like
meds,
an outpatient thing program or what the case was? But I mean, very clearly from the beginning of his life, he's always been some type of criminal, and he's just escalated and escalated
Yeah.
and escalated. I am surprised though that you haven't heard that.
No, you can bet I'm going to be all over that from now on. That's such a great story, Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah, current event.
Current event. I
I
wanted
love
to
it.
try to keep it a little bit current, but yeah. So that's the story, or the current story of Brian Walsh. I would love to follow up, and I'm sure this case is far, far from over.
Right.
It's going to be likely years, but keep following up with updates.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
what's happening in court, or has she been found, or anything like that. So I think that would be
All right.
interesting to keep the fans updated.
We both brought a couple crimes, one from
We
Indiana,
did.
one from Massachusetts.
Yes.
One from the 80s when Joan Jett was rocking it.
One from 2023 when Miley Cyrus is rocking
That's
it.
right. That's what I was going to say.
I do promise though that next week I'm gonna bring something a lot more bright and probably
Yes.
with like a comedy factor to it, because true crime, like I said, is not for me, and it's just
It is sad.
hard.
It's draining, but
yeah.
well, we promised to make it whatever we felt like telling each other about.
Yeah, we
so,
did.
All right.
So, all right, well, tune in next week to figure out what happened to Marsha, because I am not gonna let her escape.
No,
my...
I hope she's not escaped. I hope she's in an institution somewhere.
She probably is, but
Yeah.
even if I don't have an update on Marsha, I'm gonna try to have one on her family or her kids
Okay.
or something like that. So,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah. You got any final words? Anything that you want to share?
No, thank you for watching. Please give us a 5-star rating on our podcast on Spotify.
Spotify, YouTube. Please follow us on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok. Share us with your friends and family. That's it. So this has been another episode
Of
These Nuts
Podcast. Wait, let's do it again. Let's do Cut, take 2.
This has been another episode of These Nuts Podcast.